Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share with you, so let's begin. My girlfriend Sarah, 29, and I, 28, have been dating for 5 years. I wanted to go on a vacation with her to celebrate, so I planned the trip for several months and shared my plans with her. We decided on skiing. We were going to do some snowboarding and other winter activities in Colorado. It seemed like the perfect trip, and I'd been looking forward to it for months because I wanted to propose to her at the end of the trip, 5 days before we left. But Sarah messed up. She invited 2 of her friends to meet her there, and I was upset because I wanted to spend one last day with her. I was really looking forward to this trip with Sarah. I'd planned it for months and was excited to propose to her at the end of it. But then, just 5 days before we were due to leave, she invited 2 of her friends to join us. I was really disappointed because I'd made it clear that I wanted to spend the trip with just Sarah. She said her friends had already made plans and wouldn't back out. I decided to accept, as there was no way I could force them not to come. I wish I'd fought more on this. I thought we could still make some changes to our plans, and I'd still be able to propose to her privately. But Sarah basically blew me off. Once, for our anniversary, I felt like it was obvious that this was a trip for just us. I told Sarah I was worried, but she said her friends had already made plans and wouldn't back out. I decided to accept this because there was no way for me to force her friends not to come. I wish I'd fought more on this. I figured we could make some changes to our plans, and I'd still be able to propose to her privately. Sarah basically let me down. I ended up going off for her friends, and we didn't get any private time after 3 days of being in second place. I decided to leave the trip and head home. I told Sarah why I was leaving, and she was upset. She told her friends about my decision, and I was ganged up on. They said we were all having a great time. She thinks I'm being a jerk for making her pick between her friends and me, even though her friends weren't invited in the first place. I never had personal issues with her friends prior to this. I never made Sarah choose between me and her friends because everyone needs friends outside of a relationship. I'm at home now, thinking about everything. I have a day to myself before Sarah comes home, so at least I get to relax a bit. Sarah and her friends think I'm overreacting and that I ruined the trip. I think Sarah was disrespectful and rude to me by ruining the purpose of this trip and having her friends gang up on me. Am I the jerk for leaving a vacation I planned? I had planned this trip with my girlfriend for our anniversary. I made it clear to her that I wanted to spend the trip with just her and me. We've been on other trips together without her friends, and we'd discussed marriage before. It wasn't like I'd proposed marriage out of the blue. We'd talked about our future together after being together for 2 years. So, 3 years ago, we both wanted to get married and travel. We'd also moved in together. 5 years ago, we both believed that living together before marriage was important for seeing how the other person lives, and for seeing if you are compatible. This was a planned anniversary and romantic trip, so the nature of it was clear from the start. We've been on other trips for our anniversary, but when her friends showed up, I was direct with her about not wanting her friends to come. I was also direct about I didn't tell her I was going to propose. We've discussed marriage before, and we both agreed to not want a big proposal, so it wouldn't have been a complete surprise to her. Maybe I messed up because I didn't want to tell her friends the news before I asked Sarah to marry me. I wish I'd contacted her friends privately about my reasons for not wanting them to hang out with us. That was a mistake. It was still my responsibility to let them know it was an anniversary and romantic trip. I don't know everything she tells her friends, and I hope she doesn't tell them everything because they don't need to know every detail about me and my secrets. I wish there was more balance between me and her friends during the trip. I'd say half the activities involved all 4 of us. The other half of the time, it was just the 3 of them. I could have followed them around, but that's not ideal. It's not that I hate her friends, but I don't want to spend all my free time with them. I've never demanded or expected her to pick me over her friends. But she has canceled on me in the past multiple times in favor of her friends. In terms of past disagreements, she has rarely involved them. We are able to settle disagreements between us most of the time, around 98% of the time. The other 2% is when she has involved her friends. Maybe she invited her friends because she doesn't want me to propose. I understand being unsure, but the least she could have done was talk to me. I would hate to make other big decisions with her, and her being too much of a coward, to talk to me like an adult and then change her mind. I can't force her to marry me. I just wish she would talk to me about her fears if she has any. Now that I'm home and having this alone time, It's important for me to have some space to gather my thoughts and sort my emotions. I didn't want to potentially blow up at her on our way home. So far she has tried to call me twice, but I've rejected her calls. Before I left, I told her we'd talk about this when she got back. These types of conversations need to happen in person anyway. I think I deserve better. We'll see what happens when she gets back tomorrow. Just to give you a quick update, my friends are here at the house. They've been helping out by keeping an eye on things in case her friends try to hassle me. I've been really happy to have them around. Second minor update, none of Sarah's friends came by the house or harassed me yesterday or last night, which is good. Sarah hasn't come home yet. I've figured out what I want to say and have it written out. I've packed up some important belongings, like my passport and clothes. And I've arranged with my best friend to stay at his apartment until I can find my own. When small issues happen in a relationship, they often tie into a bigger issue. That's why I decided to break up. I realized that her friends will always be closer to her than me. Sarah has favored her friends over me and blown off some of our plans. I was lying to myself for years because I didn't want to face reality. I had hoped she would change, but this trip really opened my eyes to the fact that I will always be in third place to her. I expressed my feelings on more than one occasion, and Sarah promised she would change, but she didn't. Sarah came home late yesterday. I said I have a lot to get off my chest and I want to get through my notes. Before she could speak, I asked Sarah how she thought the trip went. She said it was fun and memorable. I shouldn't have to feel like the third wheel in my own relationship, especially on a trip I planned. I asked why she invited her friends in the first place. She said she knew this was an anniversary trip for us. She talked about the trip with her friends. They've been friends since the beginning and had never been to Colorado. She thought it would be a good idea to let them come along, just so they could have fun with us in Colorado. I didn't find out about her friends coming along until days before. It's one thing if they came and did their own activities, but it's another thing that every activity became a group activity. I signed up for a monogamous relationship, not a polyamorous one. Sarah said she didn't know at all. She said the thought never occurred to her that I was going to ask. She said that she wouldn't have invited her friends to come along if she'd known. I told her that it would ruin the surprise if I told you. Sarah begged me to stay with her and believes we can work everything out. She didn't want to. I couldn't throw 5 years away after this one bad trip. I listened to her promises to change for years regarding her friends, but nothing happened. I ultimately let Sarah down. It's clear that there isn't enough room in your heart for both your boyfriend and your friends. As much as I love Sarah, I can't stay in a relationship where I'm not respected enough. I left Sarah in the house by herself and drove off to my I'll get my name off the lease and get my stuff. I'll return the ring this weekend. I stayed back because I said I wanted to go home alone. I know couples shouldn't storm off after a fight, but it was important to separate for a bit to gather my thoughts. She didn't ask me if I was still going to propose. She got upset hearing that I was about to, but she didn't ask me to reconsider my decision. Some things can be fixed, but I didn't see any progress on Sarah's end to fix things. I said I'll text her when I'm ready to get my things. I have her blocked. I believe people shouldn't put their friends before their long-term partners. In a long-term partnership, you can have both, but the love between friends and a partner needs to be evenly matched. It would have been wrong of me to make her choose between me and her friends because everyone needs friends and relationships outside of the romantic partner. But not prioritizing the partner isn't good at all. At this point, I'd rather be single and happy than be in a relationship and not feel respected and loved. I have to say that a lot of people in this thread and in my private messages basically told me to give this relationship another chance because we spent so many years together and wanted to get married. These people are falling into the sunk cost fallacy, and I think it's because they're afraid of being single, so they often put up with a subpar partner who doesn't fully respect them or love them. They're too hopeful that their partner will change, so they wait forever until their dreams come true. I think more people need to learn how to be single. If I find someone I truly love when I'm 60 and get married at that age, then so be it. Final update. Hello everyone. I got my stuff this past weekend from my house. I'm glad I didn't have much stuff or anything too heavy. We had a long chat about our relationship and what happened during the trip. Sarah said she is going to see a therapist and wants to become a better girlfriend in the future. I'm not opposed to getting back together years down the road, but I don't want to be in a constant on and off relationship. If life does bring us back together, then so be it. If people do get back together, They need to spend months or even years apart to actually grow and change. I didn't make any promises to Sarah about the possibility of getting back together because Sarah should change for herself, not for me. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.